All right, now let's take this to the next level. This is part 2. Here we go. Starting out, we worked with the protagonist first. So you have your protagonist now. You've figured out how to make that protagonist the best they can be. And now the job is to make sure you have the perfect antagonist for your protagonist, right? So the purpose of the antagonist is to test the protagonist to the fullest, to trigger their wounds, and to take advantage of every weakness, right? If you have an antagonist that does this, your protagonist's journey will be so engaging emotionally for your audience, right? And we will be worried about that antagonist all the way through. So the value, again, is you've got a deeply engaging relationship and story. And by the way, sometimes people say, oh, well, my antagonist is a bad guy and my protagonist is a good guy or whatever. They don't have a relationship. And it's like, yes, they do. If a relationship is built around any kind of emotional situation. So you could have a relationship that's about love, or you could have a relationship that's about hate, right? And anybody who has relatives knows what I'm talking about, I think. So, and what we want a unique relationship that doesn't just deliver this central conflict, but it's also engaging to watch because we haven't seen this. We haven't seen how these people behave like this before, or they're unpredictable, or all of those kinds of things. So, this, again, yeah, keeps you from having a weak conflict and dull moments, all of that. So here's the prompt. And I'll put this in the chat in just a moment. I'm writing a genre screenplay about a protagonist who has this goal, but obstacle and wound are keeping him or her from succeeding. Please brainstorm 5 antagonists that are unique and unknown and will challenge my protagonist to the core. With each antagonist, give us the name, role, blah, 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 all these other things. So hang on, let me bring some people in. There we go. Then you will fill in all of these. So let's just do it real fast. So you can see this is with Lena's. Yeah. We'll go over. Let's go here. There we are. And there is the prompt, right? I'm going to fill in the answers. We already have answers on Lena's. I just wanted to make this easy. But again, you're going to go through and fill these out. Now, this one, I'll give you an extra minute or two, but you should already have most of this information. If you've already looked, for instance, at your protagonist, you should know what their wound is, right? You know who they are. You can just simply put in their complete profile. And that'll work in the situation. You already have your concept, you already have your genre. So really it's just about the goal and the obstacle. So let me put in her answers. So on hers, you already know the concept. Our protagonist is Sarah. We saw her earlier. Her goal is exposing the truth and surviving. The obstacle is the mercenary who is there trying to kill her. And her wound is her past, includes her traumatic experience of betrayal by someone she trusted, which makes it hard for her to trust others. So let's see what it gives us for antagonist. Wow, I love these nicknames. And Lena, are you here?
I'm here.
Okay. Look at the nicknames. Viper, Shade, Ghost, Siren. Wow, and Raven. All right. Uh, let me put these up and see if there's anything you like. And you guys can read through this just so you see kind of what it can provide.
I love number two so far. I mean, because number one is very cliche. I think number two is he's actually in the survivalist group. It's interesting.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Let's keep going and see. You can just let me know which one works best for you.
Hmm. Interesting. I think because I thought of a mercenary or black op, but I think the guy in the group is so much more interesting. And if I could do a second one to have like a red herring, the Sarah character, the woman who wants to do an anecdotal thing, number four, I think, is interesting as well. Cassandra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she could be a red herring, maybe.
Okay. So you like number 2 and number 4?
Yeah.
All right. Just a second. Now, part of why I'm doing this is important. I'm trying to keep up with her as we make changes. So what I'm doing is I'm simply moving this stuff over to an email so that when we get to the next one, we can make use of it. So just a second, let me get Cassandra here. Okay, so that's what you want to do. What we just did, you're going to put in the prompt. You're going to fill in these blanks, right? And then you will go through and take a look at each of the ones that come up and then keep the one you like the best. Now, by the way, it's also possible to go through and compare some things and that, but I'm only giving you 5 minutes. So I want you to get the job done first. And then if you have extra time, go back and look for ways to improve the character and all that kind of thing. So just a moment, let me get the prompt and put it in here. And keep in mind, doing this when you elevate one of these, either of these two lead characters, your protagonist or your antagonist, when you elevate those characters, that makes your screenplay significantly better and so much more pitchable, right? It's like you wouldn't believe how many times people will tell producers all kinds of details about their characters that are boring. And so you should only be saying the things that lights them up. Let them find out all those other details someplace else. But first, you've got to create something that is exciting and interesting and compelling. So here's the prompt. I just put it in the chat. I want you to take that, fill in those blanks, and run it through and pick an antagonist. So ready, everybody? Ready? Go. 5 minutes total. Move as quickly as you can and have fun. Okay, we're back. And let me just make sure, anybody have any questions? Oh, before I ask that, how many people are already blown away by what this can do? Can I see your hands? Yes. This is just going to make writing so much fun. Really, truly. It's like, it's in a way, it's almost like you have a writer's room at your, beck and call at any moment. Jacqueline, were you just clapping or did you actually have a question?
No, I'm thrilled. I told my husband this is like candy for writers, crack for writers.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Anybody, any questions before we move on? Okay. Then let's go to the next one. So in just a second here. Okay. I thought. Okay, so this one, now what we're going to do is compare the character profiles and elevate them. So it's just another way of making sure that your characters are working together for your story, that they fit the concept, all of that kind of thing. So our objective here again is to create incredibly interesting three-dimensional characters that are perfect for the concept, that are on a transformational journey, that are memorable to an audience, that are attractive to actors, all of that kind of thing, right? So here's the prompt. I'm going to give it a series of character profiles for my protagonist and antagonist. And actually, the one I'm going to put in is going to include a red herring character, because Lena had said that she wanted to have a red herring character. So we'll do that. Who are in this story that is based upon this concept with this conflict. Can you provide suggestions to make each of these characters more interesting and unique, and have them deliver on the concept and conflict better? So you're going to fill in these three things: your concept, your conflict, and your character profiles. Now, let's go over to AI and do it. I just love these, these nicknames. So let's go to a new chat on this. And just a second. Yeah, there we go. I'll do it this way. So first, these are the three things you're going to fill in. I've already got them at least partway filled in. So here's the concept. This is the one we've been using the whole time. Here is the conflict. This also is the one we've been using the entire time. Now, by the way, again, if you're not getting the kind of answers that you want, sometimes it helps to go back and make these stronger, the concept and the conflict. But let me now give you the character profiles that just came from what we just did. So just a second. So here we are, and just for clarity, protagonist, let's go down to this one, antagonist, and then this one, red herring. Okay, so all I've done is filled in exactly what you saw on the page before. This is Siren here. And I just took the information that was given. This is Shade. I took the information that was given there. And this is the profile, wherever it is, right here for Sarah, that we came up with earlier. And let's do that. So let's see what it does. So essentially, what we're looking for is how to make sure that Sarah has a complex past, vulnerabilities, and conflict with some of the other characters. So this points to specific things that can help you. And Lena, you can take a look and see if there's anything you think on this, but our objective is to be able to start to think about how these characters are going to interact with each other, how they show up, what the relationship is, what the conflict is, all of that kind of thing.
Interesting. I don't think the complex past fits. I think it should be something else, because I think the toxis is not something she knew about. But I like her. Yeah, I like that she should have vulnerabilities. It should be extremely difficult for her. So I absolutely will do that.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Let's see what this one.
Moral ambiguity is always good. Yeah, scientist to survivalist. I like him. I think he's interesting. That's good. Motivation.
So see, what we would be doing here is taking the things that you like and just not even worrying about the others, right? So, and this is just for everybody to know. It's like if you looked and you said, wait a minute, I don't think Shade has an obsession with saving humanity, right? It's like, okay, don't even think about it for another second. Just take only the things that you like. Let's go on here.
Yeah, her motivation is good. She should have been more layered. I agree with that. And I also think that there should be a relationship with both Sarah and Shade. So that's absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this gives you a chance to at least consider how these three characters might interact. If you want more information, then you come down here and ask. You ask some kind of follow-up question depending upon what it was that you wanted. What's this one called? Siren. Yeah. And just ask and see what it comes up with, right? So I just asked for how could we create more conflict? Let's see how many answers it's going to give us. So there's 8 different ways to create more conflict between those two characters, right? So this is, again, you may only go through and pick one. You may just pick hidden agendas. It turns out Siren has a hidden agenda that's going to affect the other, or whatever. You get a chance to read through and try on things and see what's possible. And then in the midst of that, make a choice, delete all the rest. Don't even think about the rest, right? There's too much here to think about, to spend more time with. I would just go through and pick one thing or 2 things that you think would help and add it. So, all right, now that we did that, let me give you the prompt. And remember, you're going to pull up those 2 or the 3 characters. You're going to pull up 3 different characters. This one adds in the words red herring. If you don't like that, you can change it to connecting character and add a 3rd character in. But you're just going to pull up 3 character profiles, put them in, and then see what it does with it. So there's the prompt. I'll give you 5 minutes. I don't think you need that, but I'm going to give it to you. And I can't wait to hear your thoughts afterwards. If you have along the way, if you have any questions, just once we get done with this, then I will be happy to answer them. Everybody ready? Nod yes if you are. All right, ready, go.
And, Matthew's trying to leverage this power to make himself speaker or whatever his secret young plan is.
Okay, we're back. Now, if you have a question, again, please, if you have a question, go to the reactions button and then click raise hand. This is your chance. Okay, I'm going to assume it went well for you guys. Let's go to the next one. So, yeah. Just a second. Hang on just a moment, sorry. Now, there we are. Now we're going to work with the transformational journey. So what the purpose is here is to have the audience experience the growth and change of the protagonist, right? And also to be able to cause that same change with the audience. And this is the other big thing. A transformational journey often ends up being the movie trailer, right? So if you've ever gone to a movie, I went and saw a movie a couple of nights ago. They had 10 trailers beforehand. Most of them had the transformational journey as the trailer. So that's why this is so important. This is part of how they sell to audiences. So our objective and the value here is it makes it more compelling. It makes it more fulfilling for the audience. It creates a lasting impact and it creates buzz, but it also sells the movie. So here's the prompt. This is the one you'll be using in just a moment here. Please create a transformational journey for this genre, concept, and my protagonist that has a beginning and ending and a series of internal and external challenges that force the protagonist out of their comfort zone and ultimately challenges them to the core. Many times these challenges will come from the antagonist. Give me these in a chronological series of bullet points. So this is the information you're going to fill in. Genre, concept, protagonist, antagonist. Now, you already have these first two. You have full character profiles for the protagonist and the antagonist. You could put in a full character profile, or you could put in just one sentence. It's like there's sometimes where I'll do it where I'll just come up with one very precise sentence that tells me who the protagonist is in the story and who the antagonist is. But for the moment, let's go over to, let's go over to, there we are. And I'm going to create a new chat here. So hang on. And we'll fill in this information in just a second. And on my protagonist and antagonist, I think I'm just going to put in the full profiles for the moment. There we go. Okay, so let's see what it does with our transformational journey. Now that time it did it as a structure. Sometimes it'll do that. Sometimes it'll be the entire thing will be listed as a structure. Sometimes, because here's our midpoint. Here's our final showdown. Here's our resolution. But yeah, and let me make it bigger so people can see it.
So what's interesting too is we didn't change the original concept, and that had Black Ops in it. So as the and tag, and I don't know if it matters. It's just interesting.
So it has shade here. Are you saying, and here's Sarah, are you saying that this part wasn't in there?
I'm saying is the original concept that I just brought you has Black Ops in it. I think both in the conflict and the concept. And this is kind of a different animal because they're not Black Ops. It could still be Black Ops. It was just a comment that we haven't seen. Have Black Ops agents close in on the survivors, and it could totally be still true. It's just not, they're not the antag anymore. It's interesting.
Right. Yeah. And this is the thing to know about AI for everybody. AI's main purpose isn't about giving the right answer. It's actually, in my opinion, much more creative. So it's going to do some things that you go, wow, that's not it. And what that allows you to do, like if Lena and I were doing this for real right now, we would be having a conversation called, okay, where do you want this to show up? Do you want this to show up in the beginning? Do you want it to be the main thing? Do we need to tell it right now that it needs to do 4 or 5 other things, right? So anytime you look and you go, oh, something's wrong there, that gives you an opportunity to then make an adjustment and ask it to make a change. Lena, I'll let you look through this and see what else you think.
I love actually the Black Ops because maybe they're actually good guys now. I don't know. I could play with that. Right.
Well, that's the kind of interesting.
Right?
Black Ops people as good guys. Okay.
Yeah. Because the bad guy is in part of the cult. He's or not the cult, the survivalists. So it just gives me a lot more things to think about out of the box, right?
Yeah. So let's let the group get on with it and do their thing. And I'll be happy to send this to you, Lena. So hang on just a second and let me pull this up. Jacqueline, you have a question while we're doing this?
Yeah, I was trying to copy paste like you. So if I put your prompt into the chat and then I had a Word document, it let me put that in. But if I tried to go back like to the left with all the other profiles and everything, it didn't let me copy paste it and put that in. So like
Are you saying you pasted something in and then you tried to do it a second, add something else and it would allow that? Sometimes it's kind of spooky.
Like it kept on sending me to a new chat. Like I was able to put one character profile in, but when I went to copy paste the second profile or the third, it threw me into a new chat again.
Well, here's what I would check on that. I would check to see if you're hitting return or anything like that in order to move around. Because originally I had that same problem and I started going, okay, wait a minute, I have to be very careful about how I put this information in.
Yeah.
Because the moment you hit return, unless you do shift return, if you do shift return, it'll allow you to go to the next line. If you just hit return, it'll automatically start calculating.
Okay, so I should try shift return, right?
Try
that. Thank you.
And see what happens.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to paste this chat in here, or this prompt. So this is the transformational prompt, the one I'm putting in right this second. Look at the chat, copy that, paste it into to whatever AI you're using, and then fill in the information. And I'll give you 5 minutes to do that just for fun. Okay, if you can, please bring that to a close. And if anybody has any questions, just go down and click reactions button and the words raise hand. Going once, twice. JJ, were you trying to say something? Okay. Sometimes I see people talking and I don't know if they just didn't unmute or something. All right. Okay, let's go to the next one. So this one, here we go. Now what we're going to do is look for what could be the best audience, comps, and budget. And let me tell you where this comes from. You know, you're sitting there with a producer and they might ask directly any of these questions. I have been at Pitch Fest before where writers have been stumped by all three of these questions, and it was just that they just didn't think about it beforehand. So if they're saying, who is the audience, right? The reason the producers, and let me see if I have this on the slide, I don't know. But the reason the producer's asking who the audience is because they're trying to figure out how to sell it, right? The reason they're asking for comps is they're looking for a model for selling it. They're asking for budget because they're trying to figure out if it fits their range. Let's see if it says this. So you want to focus your script on the best audience. This is something also that's important. When you're writing, you want to be focused on the best audience and budget range. Great comps provide a shorthand for recognizing how to sell a movie to an audience. I have done this before where I pitched something and the producer went, well, like, you know, I don't know what's been done like this before. And I told them, and I saw it on their face. The moment I said the name of the other movie that was successful, the producer instantly knew how to sell this. So that makes a big difference. So comps help the producer know how to market the movie. They already have a model. Somebody else has marketed a movie just like this, and here's how they did it. Audience is first who you write to, and it's who the trailer is geared towards, and the group that the marketing budget targets, right? So this is important. Sydney, my oldest daughter, worked for a company that all they do is trailers for movies. And they do them for Fox and Warner Brothers and another studio. But she would come home on her computer, she would have one trailer for one audience, one trailer for another audience, and one trailer for a third audience. So if the movie, they were doing a lot of kids' movies, so it would be, we need a trailer for boys, a trailer for girls, and a trailer for the moms who are going to take the kids to the movie. And all three of them were different. It was really interesting. So that's in the same movie, but it's like you need to know this stuff so that you can pitch, right? So here's the prompt, basically. It's real simple. Here is the genre, concept, and synopsis for my upcoming screenplay. Can you tell me the best audience, comps, and budget range that can increase the chance of this screenplay getting made into a movie, right? And then these are the three that go with it. So you'll see those in a minute. And then you fill in those blanks. Now, listen, if you don't have a synopsis, here's what you do. Go back to the transformational journey you just created and use that for the synopsis. Okay? So you already have this information. So let's go do it real fast for Lena. Just a second here. Okay. So let me fill in the prompt. And notice the prompt has all that stuff about the audience, the comps, and the budget range right there. It has it listed. That's part of the prompt. So just a moment. Let me get this information. And Lena gave me a synopsis, so I'll just go ahead and use that. But again, you could use what we just did a moment ago in the transformational journey. So let's see what it does with us. And Lena, take a look, see what you think. Are you there, Lena?
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay.
I'm here. Yeah. Interesting. I love it. It's good.
Comparable movies.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not sure about the Revenant. I guess out in the forest type thing.
Well, I guess it's just because of the wilderness thing. I don't know. Maybe that's it, or you know. So okay, so you got that. Let's see on budget range. Any thoughts?
I think it's good. I think I think it's right on. I mean, 30 million to 60 million studio, yeah. Maybe more if it's, you know, a people, actors,
Yes,
but
actors, yeah.
yeah, I think it's really on actually.
So yeah, this is good. So here's the thing for everybody to know. If you sit down with a producer and they say, "What's the budget on your project?" First, it depends on where it goes, but second, there is no right answer to that. And as long as what you're saying makes sense in their world, that's all it has to be. Right. So if Lena said, well, you know, I think we could do this for 3 to 5 million, if you're talking to a low budget producer, you just said the right answer. Right. If she's talking to somebody who has done stuff with streamers, then you would have that, you know, maybe it's 15 to 30 million kind of thing for the streamer. Maybe we could do it at a lower level, depending upon what their relationship is with a streamer and how much funding they have. So, you know, but it's like, as long as you can say something that even sounds
We stopped hearing you, Hal.
Hell, you're frozen.
I thought it was me that was frozen, but I guess it's Hal.
Wait for the thaw.
Anybody know what's going on?
My guess is that they're
So I can hear everybody, but I can't hear Hal, right? I don't know if he knows. Maybe Lena, you have his cell or?
I just texted him on send a message. So
Okay, perfect.
He'll come back in a minute. Don't worry. He probably has to reset.
it might be a bandwidth issue.
yeah, he wasn't on because I think I was admitting people or whatever. So
Lena, it looks like you're in charge.
Looks like I'm in charge. What should I talk about?
Good job.
There's your back.
Thank you guys. Thank you for being patient. Sorry about that. I got kicked off the internet for some reason. Let's go over here. Let me put in the prompt. There's the prompt. If you just look to the chat, copy that entire prompt, put it into your AI, fill in those 3 blanks at the end. Let me give you 5 minutes to do that, and then we'll talk. So do that, and then we'll do a quick debrief, and then we'll have a break. Ready? Go. And thank you, Lena, for taking charge.
I apologize. I'm a little lost, but where do we transfer this to in the window, in the Chat GPT window?
So I'm sorry, who's asking?
This is Deborah. I am a little late and a little off from not being able to start at the very beginning because I didn't get the email.
Okay.
So,
Sure,
so
Deborah, just hang on. Let me show you real fast.
perfect.
So this is what Chat GPT looks like. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah, and down here where it says send a message, this is where you paste in what we've done.
That whole body of copy.
Yeah. So I'll just show it to you again here.
Okay.
So you're going to paste in all of this, right?
Okay.
So it's what's in the chat window. And then you're going to fill in the genre, the concept. I would make sure you have the concept someplace, and then whatever your synopsis is.
And the concept being the log line.
Yeah, it's what's the big hook of the project.
Okay.
Yeah. And by the way, tomorrow we will post the recordings of all of this so that you can go through every bit of it.
Great.
So, you know. So just for the moment, just do the best you can and just watch our examples as we go. But what's really important is that you get a chance to make use of it.
Exactly.
You know,
Thank you so much.
I know you're stepping in here at step number 7, so fill in what you can and then see what happens. Okay, we're back. And let's do this real fast. If anybody has any questions, please go down to the reactions button, click it, then click raise hand. Happy to answer anything you need. No? Okay. Diana.
Yeah, I was wondering how current the comps need to be, because I'm getting some for like 2010, 2008.
Yeah, so there's two sides to that. There's the side called the ones that tell the story best, the ones that make it the easiest for people to see them. So it, like if I said, it's Godfather on a spaceship, right? It's like, okay, we can see this is the mafia is taking over a spaceship and blah, blah, blah. But if they went back and they looked and they went, well, Godfather didn't make as much money as some of the movies nowadays. It's like, well, it was a runaway hit at that time, but at the present moment, those numbers don't make that big a difference. If you're talking money wise, then yeah, you want to be at least, in the last 10 years and have it be something that's big enough that it makes sense.
But
here's what you never do with a producer. Never, ever, ever tell them a comp that didn't make a lot of money.
Okay.
Because I've asked multiple producers this. I've said, when somebody gives you a comp that lost money, what do you think? And they said, oh, it's a no. It's an absolute no. I'm not going to lose money, right? Because that's their reputation. It's their life. All that kind of
So if it's a blockbuster hit, but it's 15 years old, doesn't matter.
It's totally fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So, okay. Mickey.
Yeah, I forgot to put the genre down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the deal. I still got the same age group, and the budget range went from different. Like from the drama is 500,000 to $1 million for indie, and for comedy, it's $1 million to $2 million. So putting the wrong genre, don't put the genre down, you get different.
And you know what? You could put the exact same thing in and run it 3 times, and it might be different every time.
Yeah.
Again, just keep in mind. This is why I keep saying, in my opinion, AI isn't a right answer machine, because if you think about this, like, let's say I ask it a question and I say, give me 20 different ways to do that. Maybe 1 or 2 of them are the right answers, and all the others are alternative answers. So, I think it's more a creative machine for us. It's something that can make a big difference in having you think outside the box and in different ways. So if you end up running, by the way, if you end up pitching and along the way a producer says to you, I don't think your budget numbers are even close, which I've never had happen. But if that happened, I would say, oh, okay. Well, thank you for telling me that. What do you think the budget range would be? And then now you get it directly from the producer. So, but this gets you at least something you can say that's intelligent. Anybody else? All right, let's take a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back. We're probably going to be finished in about 30 minutes. So I will see you back here in 5 minutes, and we will finish up.